us a little clearer, a little easier. Seems like when we were children, we were more attentive to that voice that told us between right and wrong, that called to us to come to God. It's hard for us as adults in the clamor of this world to take the time to calm down our souls, our hearts, and our minds to the point where we be still to hear that voice of God, where that voice of God is louder than all the voices of the world around us. Do you hear his voice? Do you hear that voice in your life giving you direction, teaching you and leading you in all truth? Yeah, I wish it was as easy as a radio. I can play a radio. Can't do much on a piano or a guitar, but I can play a radio. But it's easy for me to tune it to the frequency that I know I want to hear. Sometimes it's hard to remember the frequency for the voice of God and how to attune our hearts to hear. And what do we want to hear? I told you a story not too long ago about two men that were walking. And one turned to the other, said, "Listen to that cricket." The other man said, "What do you mean, listen to that cricket? All the car noise, people talking, walking on the sidewalk, you want me to hear a cricket? How can you hear that?" And the zoologist had trained himself to hear the natures of sound. He didn't explain to his friend how he could hear the sound of the cricket. Instead, he reached into his pocket, pulled out a $50 coin, and dropped it on the sidewalk. And watched as everyone stopped and looked for that coin. They heard it clanking amid all the other noise around them. And he told his friend, "We hear what we listen for." They heard the sound of that coin because it was materialistic. It was something that people looked to hear, to see. Do we really seek his voice? Are we really listening for his voice? If we hear what we want to hear, what are you hearing? The scripture is crystal clear. My sheep, hear my voice. Let us listen for his voice as we gather this morning. In the great hymnal, let's share together hymn number 4.